Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching us from around the world. This is the Transfer Target Show. Gaz is joining me. No talk about Spurs today. Everything Premier League, reactions to some of the very latest deals, including one that we're calling done. And we'll come to that in just a moment. Gaz, going to slag off Dutch players today, mate?
Yeah, only recent ones. Yeah, not the historical ones. They're good, but the recent ones are very sloppy, very poor, and not fit for purpose in the modern day Premier League.
Except Gravenberch, except Gakpo, but we'll
Except,
leave that
except the
just
odd
there.
ones.
Except the odd one, yeah. Look, do you think this is set to be a absolute record-breaking year for transfers? It seems now
Mm.
clubs where they've maybe held back in previous windows with FFP and whatever else now look set to spend. I'm thinking Newcastle United are looking busy. City have admitted they got it wrong last year. They're going to go big. I think they don't give a shit about their 115 charges. Chelsea will go again. Arsenal have got to do deals with strikers. Spurs, well, they've got to spend money to get themselves back up the league. Otherwise, they'll be getting relegated next season. So many clubs are going to be looking to spend money. And I'm almost waiting for that domino effect. Guys, welcome to the channel. Those of you that have just come straight in, do me a massive favor before Gaz gives me his opinion. Smash that like button on today's show. If you're feeling super generous, hit the subscribe button as well. We're going to be here for about an hour and a half talking about 13 or 14 players. So bear with us. But Gaz, what do you think this window's going to do?
Yeah, it's gonna be mayhem. There's so many teams looking to improve. Last season was very patchy, wasn't it, with some of the people what they were buying? But these window, I think this is going to be a big window this summer one for sure. A lot of teams need to progress. A lot of teams are not happy where they are. Spurs, United, etc. People sort of pushing for that sort of top four spot, top five spot for the Champions League. It's all on, isn't it? There's a lot of teams that's going to be pushing.
Yeah, obviously this first window's open for about 10 days before the Club World Cup. The likes of Chelsea, Manchester City representing obviously the English sides in that competition that no one seems to care about. City looking to spend and get their business done early. I wonder with those clubs as well, as once the window has closed for the first round, whether or not they'll go again once it opens. Are they going to try and highlight a couple of key players and then focus on some other targets, the low hanging fruit, so to speak?
Maybe I think it's more of the selling clubs will be holding out a little bit more. Go, you know what? They'll probably play hardball. They'll be going, you know what? Fine, you've missed this round, and they might even not show no interest in the second one to get them panicking. So that could be a bit of a ploy. But no, the big clubs, like say Liverpool, they're trying to get their business done as soon as possible, and it just makes total sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what I love in the modern day world now is the football players posting cryptic messages on their social media accounts.
Yeah,
It's like, the eyes looking, or, you expecting Zubimendi to be at a medical in London and he's not, he posts a picture from on the beach or whatever else. You're like, what
yeah,
the is going on at the moment?
yeah.
Like, these players are supposed to be done. United Matt down in the chat, United might be the biggest spenders. They just might. Jim Radcliffe might sell a few
Mm.
more chemicals and get United back up the table. United maybe trying to go positive. Gaz, give me your reaction to Bruno Fernandes. Came out and said he wants to stay, still got plenty to offer. It's been widely received as positive news for United. What's your take on it?
From a financial aspect, is the interesting one, because for me, I always said he's a great player, United's best player. Build a team around him, great player. He is
Even
no
at
captain.
30?
Yeah, he's no captain for sure. But just to get them back, into an area of where United should be, around that sort of top five, top six sort of club. To get even pushing that way, you need someone like Fernandez. You can't just do it from a complete rebuild. Otherwise, you're the likes of Brighton and people like that,
Yeah.
with an arguably better squad. So you can't do that. So you have to have these world-class players that are, yes, they will be at 30. You've got to put people around them. They've got that Ahmad, they've got Garnacho. Problem is with United, they have to, like I said, a lot of money they could have got from Bruno Fernandes, and that money could be used to really strengthen in a lot of areas which they need, and that could be a downfall for United, in my opinion. No
Let's see.
Champions League money, remember? No Champions League money.
No, let's see how they balance the books because I think that you'll be seeing the sale of this, the sale of that, and whatever
Mm.
else. But look, guys, let's get straight into it, and we're going to go with this: a done deal. Tijani Reinders, Dutch, my man, Dutch central midfielder, £48.3 million agreed, 5-year contract. He's on his way to City for a medical. That's as good as done here on the Footy Social Club. Coming
Mm.
in from AC Milan, 26 years old, 47 appearances in all comps last season, 13 goals, 5 assists, a technically gifted player with a solid engine. Screams Pep Guardiola as part of the rebuild. He, you think, is going in straight next to Rodriguez.
Yeah, well, obviously, anyone that can play against Rodri is going to be hugely complimentary for sure. But yeah, I mean, AC Milan player, so obviously he's really, really good on the ball playing midfielder. Looks more of an 8, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Rodri being a 6 doesn't look like if he's like a 10, he doesn't look that sort of high. So he's certainly not. I thought at one point they were looking for a De Bruyne replacement, but this guy isn't a De Bruyne replacement. He seems to be a little bit sort of less, more of an 8. So be interesting to see, what happens with Silva. Is he like, Bernardo Silva's,
I still
replacement?
think that, I think there's definitely chances
Another
of
season
Silva
in him?
going.
Yeah, all going, yeah.
Looking at his Serie A stats, for the important ones, goals scored from open play, 10 of those, that's ranked 7 in Serie A. Chances created 47, 17th. Passes completed in the final third, 467 throughout the season, sits him 5th in the Serie A. Records, dribbles completed 36th, 18th. Interceptions 38, 13th. He's got good pedigree. He's the right age. You feel like someone like Pep can elevate him again to other levels. You talked about Dutch players maybe not being, sometimes to the quality needed for the Premier League. I don't think we'll see an issue with this one.
Maybe not. Maybe not. It's the speed more, if anything. When I say about the Dutch players, I just don't think they adapt well to the speed of the Premiership. It is ruthless, the Premier League now, and unfortunately, some of these countries can do it quite well. Some of the African players, they seem to manage it really, really well. Kante and people like that. They just seem to fit really, really well. And the French guys do as well. But just something a little bit odd with the Dutch is they want a bit more time on the ball, and we'll see how this one
That's a
kicks off.
slower league, so he's going to have to get used to
A lot slower.
a pace
Lot slower.
of the Premier League, the physicality of the Premier League. But the one thing I'd say about Serie A compared to the Premier League is everyone gets the ball down and plays.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
he wouldn't have those stats if he couldn't play ball as well.
Yeah, but he won't have time to play ball. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You got to have time to play ball. Yeah, you can look great if no one's pushing you down and closing you down. You've got to be quick feet. You've got to be real quick feet and to be able to move around. But we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see indeed. Right. So Reinders is coming in, 5-year deal. It's going to be a better midfield for Manchester City. Improves the legs, no end there. Let's go on to the first one. We'll stick with Manchester. Rasmus Højlund could be heading back to Italy on loan, not to Atalanta, Gaz. Hey to Sam Brown, hey to Stephen Field as well down in the chat. Boys debating there about Man United being cashless. Sam, give us your opinions on Reinders coming in as well. Smash the like button for me, Sam, if you can, when you're there. Rasmus Højlund, Gaz, it's just not worked for him at all at Manchester United. A player that's bereft of confidence. A part of that is to do with how poor Manchester United have been as well. Scoring goals for Atalanta for fun, 72 million from memory, I think United paid for him. Looks set to maybe head back to Italy on loan to Inter. That could change as well, given that Simeone Inzaghi's accepted the Al Hilal moneybags deal, £25 million a year. He's on a jet aeroplane never to return again following that 5-0 thumping by PSG. But Højlund could head the other way to Italy as well. Thoughts?
At 22 years of age, you can't be going to Al Hilal. You have to go.
Simeone Inzaghi's the manager's going as manager, 25 million. Højlund to Inter Milan.
Inter, yeah. Inter potentially. I mean, how's he getting a deal at Inter Milan? I do not know. Finals of the Champions League. He's rubbish. Simple as that. I'd be very surprised if they want like a loan deal. That's just a shipping him out type of job. But they need money from him. They need to be selling the guy. Like, is there no reason he can't go to somewhere like Ajax or drop down into someone in the French leagues or something like those where they can probably get 30 million for him or something like that, or 40 million, and then recycle that money a bit more. A loan deal. What would he get for a loan price? Probably 4 or 5 million a year.
I say 10.
He won't get 10 million. Not a chance. Not a chance he'll get 10 million a year.
He
No
might.
way. You pay 10 million a year to loan him? No way. Not a
Players
chance.
move for a lot more. Players lose.
Yeah. Well, then keep loaning him in, loan him to the end of his contract, and then make more money that way. But no, United need the money now, you see, and like he is surplus to requirements. He's never going to make it in the Premier League. It just doesn't work. That's proven. But yeah, if I was me, I'd be saying, look, let's see if we can get 40 million for him and just move on and see if we can get somebody else.
Fair enough. For Inter, obviously, he'd be competing with Lautaro Martinez. If that happens,
even just saying that is a joke, isn't it? I mean, he's competing with Lautaro Martinez. Like, why would you bother going? Would you bother going if you was him and you said, "Yeah, by the way, you're going to be competing with Lautaro Martinez"? Would you even go?
Yeah, I think he's got to go to a club where he's going to be given the opportunity to be number one striker.
Well, he ain't going to be there.
like he was at Atalanta. Maybe Gasparini's left Atalanta, gone to Roma now. Maybe a Roma.
Roma, go there. Maybe that's fine, but don't try and mix it with Lautaro Martinez. You just embarrass yourself.
Sam down in the chat. Reinders is exactly what we need. Energetic and scores goals is what we haven't really had for 2 seasons now. Those late runners into the box. Baxy's back as well. United can't sell Sancho, let alone Højlund. Of course, 100%. Captain positive. Baxy, what a Chelsea need. That's what I want to know. Matt agrees with you 100%. Gaz talking about Rasmus Højlund. Imagine being an Inter fan right now, losing 5-0 in the final, sacking the manager, then signing Højlund.
It would be like, it would be like, oh my God, what's going on here? You'd want to support AC, wouldn't you?
Well, did you see the AC Milan fans do the fake coffin? Yeah, through there. Stephen Field, Højlund wouldn't be dangerous with a Tommy gun. Who's worse, guys, down the chat? Is Darwin Núñez or Rasmus Højlund worse? Maybe I should just quickly create a poll.
Do a poll.
Give me a second. I'm going to create a poll. Who is worse?
Núñez or Højlund?
Yeah, Núñez, Darwin Núñez, or Højlund, and I want you to smash it. We'll put it out for the next half an hour, or Rasmus Højlund. Just give me a second. Let's make sure we spell it correctly. I just think he's rubbish. They're both rubbish. Right, starting the poll. It's going out now. Smash the poll. Tell me exactly who is worse.
I'm going to vote quickly. I'm going to vote. I've just done my little vote. Yeah, Gaz has voted. Voted.
There we go. Smash the poll and we'll see who is worse. It's got a 75% on Rasmus Højlund already, and I think Darwin Núñez is worse. That's the shocking thing. Right, so it could be a loan deal. Inter, I think United will look to move on Højlund or Xerxes, one or the other. They're dreadful players. Xerxes also awful. Right, let's go on to the next one. Mateta, Gaz.
Oh, player.
Player.
So speaking of someone that can't play, there's someone that can play. This kid is brilliant. So yeah, I mean, linked with everyone, not surprised. United,
Juventus, AC Milan, 17 goals, 4 assists in all comps last year. 27 years old. He is like a bloody racehorse when he gets going. Yeah. But he's gangly and he's clinical as well. He's dangerous in the air. He's good with his feet. He can hold. He brings players in. He can hold the ball up. I don't want to see him go to Man United. I'm really not interested in Manchester United becoming better and better. But I don't want to see him leave the Premier League either.
No, he's like a modern day. Well, he's almost it's big plaudits to say this, but a bit of a modern day Drogba, to be honest. I mean, Drogba was absolutely
Mixed with
world class.
Carnu.
Yeah, but this guy's got that sort of a yeah, I know he makes a Kanu, only because he's gangly. But yeah, I know what you mean. He's big lad, but yeah, touch of the Drogba's this guy. Yeah, brilliant player. I mean, he's arguably top for me. He's top as number nines. He's probably top three in the Premier League for me as number nines.
I'm again another player that a lot of clubs
Mm.
should look at. The interesting thing, Gaz, is the transfer fee for this one. £35 million would do the deal for Jean-Philippe Mateta. I mean, we're
Bargain.
talking 30 million for Delap, 35 for Mateta.
I'll
Snap,
buy him right now.
100%.
Yeah. I said, what do you want? Cash, 20s?
Yeah, fives, pound coins if it's Daniel Levy. Mateta solid. If Manchester United, let's go down the route of Manchester United have got a very high interest in the player. They need a number 9. They're going to do 2 10s. They need a 9 as well. If
They
they've
don't get
got
him. I
if
really hope
they've
they don't
got
get him.
Cunha, Mbuemo, Mateta, and go with Fernandez and maybe another midfielder, how good does that Man United start to look?
It starts to look a lot stronger for sure. Still not as good as that, uh, it's still not good enough for me at the back. They still need to get more structure there. But yeah, it's gone a long way, isn't it? I'd say, I wouldn't say 50% complete, but definitely 40% complete.
Yeah, it makes me then wonder how aggressive United might be in this window.
Mm,
You know,
yeah. Can they
um,
afford to do all this, though? This is the thing. It all sounds good on paper, but can they afford to do all this? They nearly went out bankrupt. Where's all this money coming from?
down the back of Jim's sofa. I think Stephen said, yeah, down the back of the sofa. That midfield would worry me, though, having Casemiro and Bruno as the 2 CDMs.
Mm.
Hi, Newcastle United fan, signed Brian and Buemo's £60 million pound deal, moved to Coleman. There's so many players. Hello, Ray. Thanks for the message as well, mate. Appreciated.
Is he back again?
Ray is back with all the players that he wants. Jonathan David in there. Ramos signed for Newcastle. Yeah, Ray's got them all. He's obviously a huge Newcastle fan, but we shall see. Jean-Philippe Mateta, though. And on Palace, Gaz, Glasner holding tight now on whether or not he's going to sign a new deal and commit his long-term future at the club. Do you think Glasner maybe holds a worry about them basically getting picked off? Wharton's being linked with moves, Eze's linked with moves, Guehi, Mateta. All of a sudden, does Tyrick Mitchell at the back? Does he have any players left?
It gets to a worry, doesn't it? Because it's happening with Wolves already. Cunha, Eight Nuri, potentially that Gomez as well. It happens, and unfortunately, Palace can't afford these players to get absolutely, struck out their team. It just kills them for sure. And because Palace are going somewhere, I believe they are. We tipped them for the final. People don't believe they did. We did, but me and you both tipped them for the final, and they won that final. And like I said, they just need a few more players like they're currently doing. Really, Glasner for me, great manager. He's got to be going. You know what? Yeah, it's all sound well and good, but I'm only getting 35 million from Mateta. If you get 80 million, I can understand it because he's probably worth that. But yeah, imagine Mateta goes, Spurs get Eze. Guehi probably goes Newcastle, or Spurs gets one of them ones. Wow, it starts to really gut that, and then Wharton goes to say Real,
Madrid,
Real
Man
Madrid,
City.
Man City, or something
all
like that.
looking at Wharton.
They wouldn't stay up then, would they? They'd literally be,
it'd be dangerous. They'd have to have a transfer plan. They definitely would. But yeah, Mateta for United could be seriously dangerous if they do Mbuemo with Cunha, Fernandez staying. You'd start to feel more positive about what this Manchester United team could be. And also, if you look at the characteristics of Mateta with Gyökeres, who Amorim had at Sporting, big, solid, powerful. Mateta fits that bill of an Amorim style striker.
Yeah.
So,
I think that Mateta's a bit more physical than that Gyökeres, isn't he? But yeah, similar sort of type of striker. Yeah.
Yeah, here we go back down here. Everyone is getting in the chat. Absolutely love it, guys. Smash the like button for me as well. Help the channel grow. We want to do 25,000 subs, so help us get there. That's the goal. What have we got going on down here? Let's have a quick look. Guehi should sign for Newcastle, Mount Shaw, Sancho, Anthony Onana, Rashford, Garnacho out, money in at the club. Make that sound easy. This is not FIFA or FC26. It's a little bit harder to do all of those deals. Delap, see you on the underlap with Ekatike. We're winning every day. That's the one and only backseat, isn't it? And Ifan says, Adam Wharton, I need him at Man United. Look, I think a lot of top clubs would like Adam Wharton as well at the club. Again, yeah, Manchester United for sure. I agree. Right, let's go on to the next one. Rayan Ait-Nouri, left back, Man City have identified him. He's another one, Gaz, along with Kirkes, along with Robinson at Fulham, along with Estupinian at Brighton. Ait-Nouri is another one. There's a plethora of good attacking left backs, and no, I'm not including a Dogi or a Dodgy in this one, unfortunately. Man City looking to do a deal in the region of £45 million for him. 41 appearances in all comps for Wolves last year. Do you like him as a player?
Love him as a player going forward, less so on the way back. He's a guy that doesn't want to play left back. He's that typical winger that goes, you know what? I might have a 3 on my shirt, but I really want it to be an 11. And for me, he's great going forward. He chips in with goals, chips in with lots of assists. Great for the fancy football, to get in for your assists. But is he good enough to be at City's cover at the back? And that could be a bit of a problem. But we'll see. We'll see.
What does it
I
say
reckon
about
there could
Nico
be
O'Reilly? I mean, he came in last season. Yes, he's a giant of a left back at 6'5".
Yeah, no left back, is he? He doesn't look right. He doesn't look right left back. You
Like
can't
Dan
be that
Burn.
big. Yeah, you can't be that big being a left back. You can't. Not to do what a left back needs to do. No, he'll shift it. He'll probably shift somewhere else. That Nico Riley. He'll probably shift to more of a 6 or something alongside Rodri, or something will happen. Something will happen. Especially like this Snyder's coming in. Not Snyder's. Snyderlin.
Reinders.
Sorry, God, these bloody Dutch names. Reinders coming in. He might turn into a bit of an 8/10, and then that Riley might come next to Rodri as the 6. That might happen. It might look a little bit more industrious. That might, could be an interesting one. But this Ait-Nouri, mate, is he good enough defensively? And I think that is an issue for City.
Yeah, fair enough. Down here we're going with Carlos Baliba linked to Manchester United. We'll have a little chat about some others as well. Fire them into the chat. I'll make a note of them. Anyone else we want to talk about outside of the 12 or 13 that we've got, we'll talk about Baliba. I'll write that one down right now so I don't forget, and we'll talk about Baliba at the end. So that's another good one. Ekatike as well. Gaz, I want to talk about him. What a player he is. So yes, fire him into the chat. We'll talk about him as we go. Sam saying, oh right, I love it. Sam, you're one of very few. There's not many Man City fans out there on YouTube. It's good to have you on the channel. I'll have to get you. This show's going to develop, guys, as well. I would love to get some feedback in the chat. I'd like to do it as a phone in as well. Give you guys the opportunity to come on and talk about transfers and players and alike on the show. Let us know in the chat if you guys would be up for that as well. Something we could look to do in the next few weeks. Definitely want to get you guys on to talk about your club at the end of the day. So yeah, let us know. Right, moving on. Gaz, for Ait-Nouri, I think is a good deal. It's depth. It shows Man City mean business. If they've done Reinders basically. If Ait-Nouri comes in and Rayan Cherki comes in as well, you're talking about 3 good players going into the Club World Cup for Manchester City, and gives Pep the opportunity to work with these players early.
Yeah, and more squadish as well, isn't it? The rebuild has started already, so it'd be interesting to see how it goes, because like I said, City are in a bit of a rebuild. They did take that sort of pin out. The pin has come out of City, and it just needs blowing back up again. So it'll be interesting to see how they get on in this World Club Cup.
Backseat is the first one that wants to be on the first phone in. Backseat, I'll reach out to you on Instagram, mate. Obviously, you follow us over there. If you don't as well, go over and follow us. Backseat will get you on for the first phone in that we're going to do in the next couple of weeks. Just building a few things on the back end for that, but really want to do it where you guys are going to come on and have your opinion on players, put questions to us, and whatever else. It's about making this your show, right, Gaz? Let's move on. Nick Pope. You've got a story for me.
Yeah. I spoke to a few Geordies when I was around the pool in Barcelona, as you do. And anyway, they was just talking to him about a few players, and obviously Nick Pope come up. I said, what's the story with him? I mean, he seems to be linked with everywhere, wants to go. And he's like, yeah, apparently not good enough with his feet. Good shot stopper. I always thought he was a very good goalkeeper. And he was a big problem remember when he was out for a long time? I think he was out for quite a while, and they was missing him. They kept saying, "Oh, we're missing that Pope. We're missing that Pope." But by the sound of things, he obviously hasn't come back how he was. But more importantly, I think as the game's moving on, he probably isn't as good with his feet as much anymore. Newcastle fans, let us know if this guy around the pool is talking tosh or not. But for me, the game is moving on. People are looking for that sweeper keeper now, aren't they? And being able to play from the back, and that's probably why Newcastle are looking for a slight change.
He's 33 years old now, 8 million. I think they paid 10 from Burnley. From what I understand, Newcastle are trying to do a deal for James Trafford, who's at Burnley.
Yeah.
Currently fee in the region of 30 million for him. Scott Parker's trying to hang on to him. Obviously, Trafford now in the England squad. Pope's on the decline. Trafford's better with his feet. So I think this will happen for Leeds. They need to get rid of Melia, who is just not kicked on. He had so much potential, but there's so many errors. He's been linked with Marseille for Leeds as well. So I see Nick Pope going to. This is an area they're targeting. They're going to try and strengthen the spine. Leeds having around 120 million to spend, and they're going to try and do it down the spine, basically. So they're going to try and buy the experience down the spine.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, hopefully I think the Leeds are also linked with that Solomon who was at Spurs as well. Be interesting to see if they actually cough up the money for him. He done really, really well in the He done really well in the championship. So, Leeds obviously 120 million. It's still not going to be enough though to keep them up, is it?
No, but if you think about it in a sense of Pope. Going there, let's say he's 33 now, end of next season he's 34. If he got relegated to the championship, it's still not the end of the world. He's been down there before with Burnley.
It is for his England career.
His England career's over at 33, 34. Yeah, 100%. Tell me,
okay.
Let's talk that. You've got Pickford, you've got Henderson, you've got Trafford, and then you've probably got Ramsdale, and then you've got Nick Pope.
I put Pope above Ramsdale myself.
All right, that's fine.
And Trafford.
Oh,
Trafford's a young kid. He's a young kid, this Trafford. He's not proven.
England under 20, England under 21.
Yeah, I like this Pope. I think he's good keeper. He's good.
But
keeper,
what England career have you got at 33 when you're behind Pickford and Henderson?
True.
I'd rather blood a youngster as the third choice.
Oh yeah. But like I said, as you got to look from Nick. I'm trying to look from Nick Pope's point of view. He's literally thinking, second and third keepers. Sometimes they get a nick, and sometimes they can always get a nick. But as soon as he goes to the championship, it's done.
Yeah, he ain't getting into Tuchel's England squad. Let me tell you that. But good deal for Leeds at 8 million. That would be give them. They'd have more money to spend going forward through the spine if they can do something under 10. That definitely strengthens them. Newcastle, as I said, in for Trafford. Joby Bellingham. Now, people might wonder why we've got Joby Bellingham up on screen, or Joby as he's known.
Job,
yeah, Joby, Job, whatever the if you want to call him.
Not Jude anyway.
No, definitely, yeah, not Jude. 19 years old, had a great season for Sunderland last season, playing his part and getting them back into the promised land of the Premier League. Look, I'm not in any way, shape or form saying that he's the next Jude Bellingham. And in some respects, it's hard to play under a namesake, especially when Jude is so good. As soon as the playoffs finished, he went off to Germany, met with Frankfurt. Leipzig have been linked. They're trying to move on Xavi Simons. Dortmund obviously have got history with the Bellinghams, and it looks likely that Dortmund are going to do a deal for him in the region of 33 million. Gaz, my question is, and also to the guys in the chat there, why is no one from the Premier League, and I know Sunderland have just been promoted, but why is no one from an established Premier League club looking at this and going, 33 million, it's a Bellingham. Look
Yeah.
what his brother is. You know, he's got 3 or 4 years on his brother.
On what thing? Because it's just because it's his brother.
But they're
And
both
he's eating the same cornflakes or the same cereal box.
they're both playing at the top level.
Hereditary.
Okay, but hang on a second then. Let me put it this way. Borussia Dortmund are no mugs when it comes to young talent.
No, it works. Everything they do seems to work for them.
Gittins, Sancho, Bellingham.
Yeah, it works.
Why does the signals not go out and say, hang on, Dortmund are willing to do it at 33 million? Why are we not doing it? Why, Gaz? Why?
Why? Because we can't do it in the Premier League. Because there's a massive difference between the Bundesliga and the Premier League. That's simple as that. It's that simple. Teams that can't gamble on, you can't gamble on people like Bellingham. Unfortunately, you just can't do it. Like put it this way: would Borussia Dortmund, where would they finish in the Premier League?
Top 6.
Fucking no chance. No chance. No.
They'd finish higher. They'd finish higher than Spurs.
Oh, fuck off. No chance.
You finished 17th last year.
Oh, no chance. That's just a blip, mate. No chance. The difference is how would Borussia Dortmund... See, Borussia Dortmund are not playing. People, the likes of Palace, and it's not just that as well. Palace, your Bournemouths, your Brightons, all these people, your West Hams, your Evertons and stuff, they're not playing them week in, week out. They're playing like fucking pub teams. Do you know what I mean? Bochum and...
no chance. No chance.
There's pub teams in the Bundesliga. Seriously, some of them teams in the Bundesliga, right, are pub teams. They really are, and that's why you can get away with it, because by risking it on some of these players. But yeah, no chance of playing the Premier League. You can. It's not the model. It won't work in the Premier League, mate. That. Otherwise, people would do it.
Yes, back down in the chat, MFS, Newcastle fan, we're interested in Joby, but Sunderland ain't going to let us get him. Mate, if Joby Bellingham goes from Sunderland to Newcastle, he'd want to buy himself an armoured vehicle and a house with a big set of fucking gates, that's for sure, and dogs.
That'd be funny, though,
because the dogs will be needed. Joby Bellingham goes to Newcastle. I think that'd be good for Newcastle. I think it would, definitely be good on their midfield. Sam Brown, it's another project player realistically, and a lot of Premier League teams are in win mode now. Look, that's also a good point.
Yeah, true.
They can't afford. So are we saying then that they're happy to pay the bigger fees from the likes of Borussia Dortmund in 3 or 4 years' time when he's gone and made himself more established?
Absolutely.
Instead of building him.
It's true, because they can't seem to do it. Doesn't seem to work. That it's hard to go from academy football straight into the Premier into the first team. It's such a jump, that. And the problem is the Championship, when they go out on loan, it's still not quite the same. Even put it this way, top tier Championship is still better, in my opinion, than going on loan to. Or going out to sort of like Bundesliga in the lower leagues.
Interesting. So look, it looks like Dortmund are going to do it. Baxi saying they'd finish 8 to 4, anywhere between 8th and 4th every year, so that's above Spurs. Make that logic works, then isn't worth it. He's upset. You've upset him. United could work with him, but they could also see that going horribly wrong too. I mean, so many players go to Man United and it goes horribly wrong. As I said, looks like he's going to leave Sunderland. He's not going to play Premier League football. That will match his brother. And he's going to go and play in the Bundesliga, which means he'll probably... Imagine if the Bellinghams were playing at Real Madrid together in a couple of seasons, centre midfield. That would be unbelievable. Your parents
You
sitting there,
haven't had your cornflakes today, have you?
your
You haven't had
parents,
your
your
cornflakes this morning.
mate, your parents sitting there in the stadium at Real Madrid watching your two
Yeah,
kids play in the Bernabeu side by side, mate.
it would.
Parents dream of that on a Sunday, on the park, let alone fucking at the Bernabeu. We'll see. Looks like it's a high chance of Dortmund going, let's rather take Chris Rigg over Bellingham. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Martin Zubimendi. Gaz, I'm nervous. I'm nervous because
Tell him why you're nervous. Tell him what you said to me at the start. Why are you nervous? Tell him.
we let Jorginho go and I'm okay with that. No problem at all. He's gone off to Brazil.
Yeah.
Atletico Madrid and Barcelona now hold a strong interest in signing Thomas Partey on a free transfer.
Yeah.
So there's your two most experienced holding midfielders gone, right? Now, Zubimendi posts a picture of himself at the beach saying it's going to be a long summer. When Fabrizio Romano last week, 2 weeks ago, was like, here we go. The transfer deal's done. He's off to have a medical. And I'm like, wicked. Zubimendi's coming in. You talked about it on the transfer, just saying this is a good deal for Arsenal. He's a good player, this, that, and the other. Well, roll forward 10 days later, and Zubimendi is no closer to signing for Arsenal. And depending on which outlet you read, this deal is close to collapsing for Arsenal. And the worry is not only do we have nobody, but there seems to be no plan B. There has not been one other holding midfielder linked to Arsenal other than Zubimendi. The buyout clause was 51 million. The contract is 120 grand. Why is it, Gaz? And I don't, not with Tottenham glasses on. Why is it that Arsenal don't just go and do what Liverpool do and get a deal done? They lost Trent. They had Frimpong done within 48 hours. Zubimendi, everyone knows the cost.
Makes no sense. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to maybe batter down wages or how much they want to spend, whatever it is. I don't get it. Liverpool seem to get their deals done so smooth. So smooth, don't they? All Liverpool's deals just bump, buy him, done. Everybody else's is complicated. I don't know what it is.
This screams to me the 40 million and £1 for Luis Suarez.
Yeah.
It just shows a club of Arsenal's size that something's not right. What? Zubimendi was apparently highlighted 18 months ago.
Yeah. You talking about him. I've heard you been talking about him for years, for ages, absolutely donkey's ages. So, like I said, if I know that, I mean, they know that too. So, but you can't get it. Imagine if he doesn't come. Imagine if you don't get anyone there in that position.
It's as dangerous as the number 9 situation.
Yeah, it is. You could have another number 9 situation issue going on there. Yeah.
A huge hole in the centre. A huge hole in they go and get a 9 and then we don't have a 6, and everyone knows 6 and 9 go together fantastically.
Absolutely.
So I just the risk is with Zubimendi is that Alonso had him in Real Sociedad B and he's now at Real Madrid, and Madrid ain't gonna batter an eyelid at 50 million.
No problem. Like I said, the only thing I can think of now is Madrid has shown interest. That's my only thoughts. And he's gone, you know what? Whoa. Okay, get me there. So by the sound of Madrid showing interest, and obviously we've got it down as high on the thing, I would say he's gone. I reckon you've got to be looking at different people. So Wharton could be another, could be somebody else to go next to Rice or something along those lines. But you need to definitely get someone in that fit.
Yeah, and as I said, the worry is that no one has been mentioned other than Zubimendi in this role. We talked about keeping Thomas Partey just to allow Zubimendi time to settle in, and we might have.
I got another one for you. Remember when I said to you about with Arsenal, Lewis Kelly?
Yes.
I said I see him much more as a centre, a defensive midfielder. That could be another option where he'll end up going into that position as more as the DM next to
discipline
Rice.
Would worry me with Lewis Skelly.
The discipline would be the best.
Would worry me big time with
Yeah.
Lewis Skelly in that
Yeah,
holding
that's
position.
youth, though. I think that'll get better, but he looks that type of player, though, to me. But we'll see.
Yeah, Sam down in the chat. You'll be fine, mate. Arteta will sign another left back to invert. Spot on, spot on. Spud signed anyone? Well, oh, Gav, welcome in, mate.
Yeah,
The
not yet.
media mogul man for the Footy Social Club, Gavin there. Yeah, who else have we got? That's it at the second. Right, moving on, Gaz. Eze.
Hmm.
Talk to me about Eze.
He's coming. He's
Six,
coming.
65 million.
Yeah.
Bayern Munich have got a long-standing interest off the back of Elise. We talked about this yesterday in the Tottenham podcast. We've got Newcastle tomorrow that we've got lined up for Thursday, 11 a.m. UK time for that one, talking all things Newcastle transfers. Spurs and Bayern Munich with the interest, 65 million. This one could be more likely for Spurs given the news this morning that the Saudis are looking at Son.
Yeah. What would we get for Son from Saudi?
What do you think? 50?
You think? Yeah, it's got to be worth that, isn't he?
Yeah.
So would it be a huge risk getting rid of him out of the team? For sure. Captain, such a great player, But is it time to cash in on him? I never liked hearing that when he's been such a servant to the club. I think a Son in your team is always does
Every
a lot
dog
more.
has his day, especially if you're in South Korea.
Yeah. Quite literally.
Every dog
But
has his day.
I think if you got rid of Son out the team, I think it would really affect the morale. I think it changes Spurs as a club if Son goes out the team to buy in Eze. I think he needs to come in and complement, in my opinion. I'd be keeping Son if it was me.
Okay, and on Eze.
Yeah, he's got to come. He's priority number one for Spurs, I think, because he can play quite centrally as well as a 10, but he can also drift off to the left. He's a must-have. A must-have. I think we said in the last pod about Spurs. I think he's our prime target for sure.
Fair enough. 43 appearances, 15 goals, 11 assists.
They'll do.
Yeah, I think they're very, very good stuff. Although, in fairness, he's playing for what I'd say is a very, very good football side as well, under a very, very good manager. Gaz, 24 hours on from the discussions around Thomas Frank and Big Ange. Any more that you want to air on that? Every news article now seems to be leaning further and further.
I just want it done, mate. Now I want it done. Now, I like for me. I want it done, and I want us to join this transfer race because every day that goes by, I see all these players linked with clubs, and he's been signed in talks. I'm thinking there ain't going to be much cake left, if you know what I mean. So it's important to strike all the deals hot, make a decision, come out, Livy, just say today, right, we're going to be behind him, or we're not. Either or, we need a decision, and we want it today or tomorrow. It's just getting ridiculous now.
Yeah, I agree. Guys, do me a favor, smash the like button. Help me get to at least 20 likes on the channel today for this show. Let's move on. Mark Guehi, another Palace player. The Palace is being robbed was the thumbnail. And I tell you what, if it was Buckingham Palace, there'd be issues. Crystal Palace could have plenty of issues. Mark Guehi, Stephen Field for you. Newcastle now 100% lead the race for Mark Guehi. Fee in the region of £68 million for the Palace captain, England international, 24 years old, super, super consistent. My question is, though, does he replace Dan Burn at Newcastle if he's coming in?
Yeah, I think he could be.
Squad player of Dan Burn.
Well, they're badly needed. I think a lot of Newcastle fans, it's been widely thing that they need a centre half. Centre half is a big player. I think they said they need a right back and maybe a right midfield as cover for Murphy as well, and obviously someone alongside Isak because Wilson's a bit hit and miss.
Wilson's gone going out on a free transfer.
He's going.
Linked with Leeds now.
Yeah, so they're going to need a striker. So Newcastle, if I'm thinking this right, they're going to need someone up top, on the right, centre back, and a right back. So all that sort of whole right side, that sort of C sort of stuff. And he's a great centre half. This guy, this guy, he'd slip in no problem at all. No problem at all at at Newcastle, and would make them really, really strong too.
Yep. Yep, I agree. I think he's a solid player. I think he'll be, with John Stones being injured so often now, I think Guehi leads the race to be a centre half for England under Thomas Tuchel as
All
well.
day, all day, all day. Oh no, he's the first teamer for England now. He's one of the first guys on the team sheet in the centre half position for sure.
We got Chelsea, who he was a youth team player at Chelsea once upon a time,
Mm.
linked with his services as well. I think he would improve the Chelsea backline, if I'm being honest. Colwell, I like young, Guehi would definitely improve him at the back. He improves Spurs, but the issue potentially with Spurs, as you highlighted yesterday, Gaz, is that Guehi's left-footed, and you've
Yeah,
already got Mickey van der Ven there.
yeah, he ain't moving him. If he couldn't move across, that's why I said to you, I think Tottenham will be linked with Branthwaite. But this guy, he's a good player. I'm sure he can play both sides. He's in our preference to play on the left, but I think he'd get the choice at Newcastle too of where he could play.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. Mark Guehi's very good. I think if anyone's to leave Palace, I think he is one of them. I think if you're talking about Wharton,
I don't think
Guehi,
he's going. I don't think Wharton's going.
no, Wharton
Um,
stays. I think Mateta will
yeah.
stay as well,
Hmm.
unless United blow it out the water. I do. I think Mateta stays. I think Guehi and Eze could be the two that move.
Yeah, I'd go Guehi and Eze, but I think Mateta could go too.
Palace would be in.
They would
Palace
be in
would
bits. But
be
they'd
in.
have a lot of dough, though, dude. They'd have a lot of cash. You say they'd be in bits, and you're talking Eze 60 odd mil, Guehi 70 odd mil, Mateta if he went,
Another
you're talking
35.
200.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talk well, and the rest. He's got to be worth. If Mateta's got to be worth more than 35 million quid.
That's what the
Like,
reports are saying.
for me, he's got to be worth more than that. So either way, there's 150 million quid there. They could do some damage with that. They can
Yeah.
do some. They can go and buy 5 or 6 players with that,
Yeah.
and turn themselves into a Palace into more of a Bournemouthy Brighton type of team that's pushing for that sort of, Conference League spot. Then
Yeah.
that's what they're looking for next.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Okay. This man, Mr. Switch Off, Aaron Ramsdale, looking for a very quick return to the Premier League, obviously following his relegation from Southampton. God knows why his agent ever said to him, Aaron, Southampton want you. You should take this deal. 3 clubs he's been relegated with now by the age of 27. Sheffield United, Bournemouth, and Southampton.
Well, if he goes to any of them interesting clubs, it'll make it 4 because they're both going to go down. Most got a good chance of going down. You know what? I mean, West Ham's a better option, of course it is. But either way, like Leeds, don't go to Leeds. Don't go to Leeds. Leeds ain't going to stay up. They ain't going to stay up.
I wonder if he is going to be unlucky even with West Ham. Let's say West Ham do Magnon, which we'll talk about in a minute, from AC Milan, the keeper there. They've got a plethora of goalkeepers. I wonder whether West Ham could look at Robert Sanchez, who Potter knows from Brighton.
Yeah, maybe.
Ramsdale could struggle to find a club. Could end up at Newcastle though as well. In the same breath.
You really rate Ramsdale, don't you?
As a shot
You really
stopper,
do.
I do.
He ain't good enough for Newcastle, mate. If Newcastle have got any qualms of trying to get sort of Champions League football on a regular basis, they can't have this guy. They can't have this guy. He's too much. It's too much, and it's not that the ability isn't there. I think there's too much scarring there. When you've gone down with like Southampton, you've gone down. A few clubs, get relegated. The scarring is there, and I just think West Ham would be a savior if he went there. He was signed for West Ham in a heartbeat tomorrow if it was him, because they'd probably most likely stay up. West Ham, and I think that's where he's probably best to go.
Ramsdale for the Mackhams. If he goes to Sunderland, I mean, I just don't see him joining any club that is at risk of going down.
Yeah.
I honestly don't. I would say with Ramsdale, if that's the case, he'll look to go abroad. I really do. I just
Yeah.
cannot see him going to a Sunderland. Leeds have been linked, and Leeds, I think, have got the best chance of the three of staying up. But I just don't see Aaron Ramsdale. West Ham, I could see. Brentford could have been one as well. They've done Kelleher for sort of a fee, a similar sort of fee. I actually don't think he's had a bad season for Southampton. He's made a lot of saves. He made a
Yeah.
lot of saves. Stopped some
Yeah.
games being 10-0. But he has the issue, which he's been very open and honest about, and Ramsdale is that type of person where he switches off in games.
Yeah.
And you can't do that at the top level.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but I think, do you think he'll be back in the Premier League next season?
Yeah, at somewhere, but I think West Ham could be it, to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah.
could come
Okay.
back to the Premier League.
We'll keep across on that one. This one, Jamie
Oh, I
Gittins.
hope he doesn't go. Yeah, I hope he don't go to Chelsea.
Why?
Oh, he's a great player. He's a really good player. I've watched a lot of him now. I've been watching a lot of Bundesliga football, believe it or not. When Kane went there, I've been sneaking to watch the odd match and stuff. This kid's brilliant. Really, really good. Got a lot about him as well. Very skillful. Reminds me of when Sané comes to the Premier League.
Yes.
Yeah, and he just looked like just like a box of tricks. This kid's the same, box of tricks.
Former Manchester City youth team player.
Former City youth team as well, so he knows all about it, all how it works and stuff. Please don't go to Chelsea. Come on. Good player though. Good player.
Is it another one, though, that maybe doesn't need to move if we think of how good Sancho was at Dortmund? Dortmund do something right, and it doesn't necessarily transfer to the Premier League.
They all want to come to the Premier League at the end of the day. Everyone wants to play in the Premier League. So he's got to get that move at some point. It's the right
He's only
time.
20.
He's 20.
He's a
Yeah, he's
baby.
20. Yeah, I know, but he's playing first team of there and he's doing well. So there's no reason why he can't come.
What's the
Price
rush then?
wise,
What's the rush?
why not? If you're good enough, you're good enough. Like I said, its age is just a number. If you're good enough, you're good enough. And like I said, this kid is good enough. He's a real good player. Plays sort of like on the left side of a three.
Of the right
Yeah,
and the right as well, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but every time I've seen him, he's always been on the left, sort of coming in on. He's right-footed, but coming in off the left. That's why I've seen a lot more of that. But he's good. He's good. He could go to Arsenal. He'd be a good replacement for someone like or
Martinelli.
Martinelli. Yeah, sort of cover on that side. He'd be a great buy for Arsenal.
46 appearances, 12 goals, 3 assists in all comps for Borussia Dortmund last year. Could be pairing up with Joby Bellingham next season. The Germans are doing something right, poaching all this young English talent. Chelsea highly linked with Gittins' signature. Expect to see him back in the Premier League and potentially before the Club World Cup. Although I think Dortmund will put their foot down, and we know with the German clubs, it is on their terms as well. There is no, just, pay 5 up front, 50 over 5 years. It won't happen. They'll want big money in the bank. And then maybe they'll let the deal happen. And they won't worry either because they'll have 3 or 4 options from England that they're already going to take from the youth team.
Yeah, true.
So Gittins could be going to Chelsea. Let us know what you think on that one. Mike Mannion, here we go. Mannion. Let's call him Mike.
Millennial. Millennial.
Mike is in the building. Mike drop. Look, Chelsea have how many goalkeepers, Gaz? Kepa out on loan, who's coming back. They've got Robert Sanchez, who was in goal. Jorgensen on the bench. Petrovic out on loan. So they've got 4 there, a combined worth of probably, I don't know, 200 million pounds, right?
Yeah.
But they need another one because one of those 4, but they only signed Jorgensen and Petrovic about 2 windows ago. So
I know.
What was the point of signing those?
They're a joke. They're a joke of a team. They're just a joke. They just want to buy everyone and just, joke. Go and buy him. He ain't that good. I don't think he's that great. Just buy him.
25 million is what AC Milan want for him. A player with 1 year left on his deal. It has been the main starter for AC Milan now for the last couple of seasons. 29 years old, France international. Chelsea, though, believed to be only willing to pay £10 million for his services. So, you know, I understand that. I suppose if he's only got a year left on his contract, that does make sense. We're going, by the way, just quickly on the poll. Rasmus Højlund, Gaz, with
Yeah.
77% as the
There you go.
worst striker over Darwin Núñez. If you haven't already,
Did you vote? Did you vote? I voted him.
quickly vote. I'm gonna, you know, as the
You
host,
voted Núñez, didn't you?
I voted Núñez. Yeah. I voted Núñez, but yeah, look, Mike and Chelsea could do this. I think Chelsea are going to spend big again. I really do. They'll find a way to do it as well.
Yeah, with their massive contracts that they do. Yeah, they will find a way. They always do 8-year contracts and all that stuff. You might be right.
Welcome to the Seventh Creative. Enjoying the channel, and the start to his morning not being amazing, wasn't very well. Hope you're okay, my big man. I'll catch up with you very, very soon. Appreciate your support. But yeah, look, Chelsea could be in for another goalkeeper. We shall see. They'll have 5. Surely they have to sell 3 of those in the summer. Up next, Gaz, one I know you want to talk about. He's been round yours for a cup of tea at Goodison, didn't he? You live in the house with the blue front door. Jared Branthwaite. Will Everton forget about Spurs? Forget about Tottenham, Chelsea, and United just for a moment. 75 million. Will Everton cash in on him in the summer? Do you think?
100%.
Why?
I think so. Because 1, they need the money, and 2,
do they need the money? Given that the Friedkin Group have got money.
Yeah, they do. They need strengthen as well, and they've got a lot of debt too. The Richarlison one just works, mate. They still owe money on Richarlison. They all want him back. Every Evertonian fan wants Richarlison back. He was like a cult hero up here. But this Branthwaite, he's really good. I've been talking about him for a long, long, long time. I brought him to attention a lot of people a long time ago. Matt, conversations I've had about him with the guys, the coaches at Everton, this kid's really good. It's really, really good. He's the next sort of Rio Ferdinand type of player. That good. He's that good.
Yeah.
Can do it all, but he's more of a right-sided centre half. And yeah, my God, I'd love it if Spurs got him.
Maybe look, linked highly this morning with Spurs, Chelsea as well. Manchester United slightly cooled, and I think that's just purely because they're looking at attacking options at the moment. Then they'll see what they can get out the door. Don't think Man United can do 4 or 5 players at plus 50 million, so they might have to be clever there. Plus, United, in fairness, have got some good. I don't think De Ligt's a bad defender. Maguire's been consistent. If they can get the Butcher fit, the Butcher is also a very good centre half. United maybe don't need to do this one. I think, Belieber's linked with them in centre midfield. I think United need it from the middle of the park going forward more than maybe at the back, unless we're talking a new goalkeeper. Maybe they could sign Aaron Ramsdale. He's better than Onana, that's for sure.
Who isn't better than Onana?
Branthwaite played 32 games in all comps for Everton last season, 22 years old. So, do you consider him a potential, or do you consider him a player that's not the finished article, but well on his way to that? I'm not sure. 75 million, I still think you're buying potential there.
Well, I don't think so. I think he's that good. He's that good. I've seen enough of this kid. I've watched him a lot. He is, trust me, he is top. He will be a future England player. Him and Guehi will be the centre halves future of England for sure.
Fair enough. 75 million a good deal? Is that, depending on the structure, that could be, Everton could demand quite a lot of money up front. When you think of the players that they're losing as well, Doucouré's gone, Calvert-Lewin's gone. I mean, you must be pleased. Did you pick Calvert-Lewin up in the taxi and drive him away from Everton and drop him off on the M4 or whatever it is, out that way, M6 or whatever it is?
Yeah, he's useless, isn't he? Absolutely useless.
I wonder if he even gets
75 million. Yeah, no, he won't. Why would he get a club? He's useless, mate. He's absolutely useless. Like, he doesn't score goals. He just wants to try on handbags and fashion and all that stuff. That's what he's interested in. Don't do that.
Yeah. Imagine if Chelsea went and did Guehi and Branthwaite.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
75 million. Look, you're saying you've got a lot of contacts in that part of the world. You're saying you expect this deal to happen.
I hope this deal happens.
The media are expecting him to move as well.
Mm.
Just be seeing how it's structured. Let's go on to the last one that we've got. It's the big man. Where's Ray down in the chat? Brian Mbuemo. Now,
God, link everywhere.
Man United have the strongest in-test. 15 minutes before we went on air, they have started initial talks with Brentford. Fee in the region of £60 million for the wide man. The stats don't lie, Gaz. We're talking a proper player here. 25 years old, looks as young as me. It must be the bald head and the beard. That's what's going on there.
He models himself on you, apparently.
He
I hear.
does, mate. He does. He does. He's got the same physique as me as well. But look, 42 appearances for Mbuemo all year last season, 20 goals, 9 assists. That's a serious return. 60 million for that return is a bloody bargain.
Bargain. Yeah, it's frustrating because obviously United are warming. United seem to be the team that are showing more interest here. And the only way I see him coming to, or United and Newcastle, to be honest, but the only way I see him coming to Spurs is if Thomas Frank gets appointed as Spurs manager. That's the only reason where he could probably potentially come. But that's more of a hopeful one, in my opinion. I don't think that's on Tottenham's radar. But Newcastle are dying for that sort of side because it's the strength in the side that they need. You've got Murphy there, who's had an unbelievable season, brilliant season. I think him and if they could rotate him a little bit with Mbuemo, they get a lot of goals there. A lot of goals from that side. Gordon on the other side with Barnes covers in for him. It's starting to look good for Newcastle, isn't it?
If they could do it,
perfect.
But
if they could do it,
I was just about to say, Stephen, 250 grand a week is what Mbuemo wants. I mean, just whip it out and drop it on the table, lads. This is what I want.
Newcastle won't pay that. I think their top wage player is about 140, 130 mil, something like 130 grand a week.
I don't know they're not. Isaac's maybe 200. 180.
No, he's not. No, they're not. He's actually lower than you think. I've had a chat with the Newcastle boys. I've had a good chat. I've been rather poor for a long time on having a chat with these Newcastle boys, and they were saying, "No, I'm pretty sure the max is about 140 tops. I think Isak will be a top thing, but yeah, 250 is a big jump. Big jump.
Mate, he's on 50 grand a week at Brentford.
Yeah.
I'm
going 50 grand a week. Yeah, I want 250.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I want a blowjob off Megan Fox, but fucking hell, mate, I'm fucking having a laugh. 250.
Jeez. Isaac's 120. Bruno's 180. Some bloke down the pub pulled the 250k number out of his backside. Whatever it is, he's going to be more than 50k. That's for sure. Hell of a player. I think he goes to United over Newcastle. I do. I think and then we're talking United with Cunha. United potentially, go and find a striker. Ray's back. Ray's been watching Brian Mbuemo $60 million move to Newcastle United. Ray, you love putting that in the chat, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. I'm not even getting down the route of that in a poll. Thank you very much. I think, there we go. If Newcastle miss out on this because United do the deal, then they've got to readjust and go again as well, because Newcastle, for me, worryingly, and we're going to discuss this tomorrow, that they've got their fingers on players that they're not guaranteed to sign.
No, that's the problem. Are they boxing? Are they trying? Like I said, because they need something on that right hand side for me.
As good as Murphy's been.
As good as Murphy's been, absolutely. Because they haven't got much else. That's the thing. And Are they trying to? I know what you're saying there. Are they trying to hit too much of a? We need this superstar player, or is there anybody else that they can think of? Is there anyone in between Mbeumo, or is it Mbeumo or bust? Because that is a big risk. Because
I'm surprised they got rid of Minter, who went to Brighton and has done well at Brighton.
everyone's after him. Everyone's
Minter's
after him.
really good. You know, could
Yeah.
they maybe, you could you stick
Mm.
Gordon on the right and maybe go for Matoma?
Sorry, just having a guzzle of water there. You couldn't put Matoma on the right. It
No,
wouldn't
no,
really work.
Matoma on the left, Gordon onto the right.
Oh, so yeah, Gordon on the right, potentially, potentially.
You know, because he could do that. I'm not sure, but they're gonna have to look. I'm just trying to think of other
I think
right.
that Barnes. See, that Barnes can play both sides,
It's
can't
hot
he?
and
I sort of.
cold though. He's so
He
hot
is a
and
bit. He's
cold.
better on the left, isn't he? He's definitely
Yeah,
better on the left. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, he can play both sides. So yeah, yeah. Minter was a big mistake getting rid of him. I think he's quality.
Let's yeah. I just think look, I think he's got every
What about that
chance.
Lewis Miley? You know that Lewis Miley,
Left
like
the midfielder.
midfielder. Yeah, he's not. He's just more of a midfield, isn't he? I don't think he's quite attacking enough, is he,
No,
to play on either side?
no,
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 yeah, I
he's
thought
not.
so. Yeah.
He's not. Um, I want to talk about. I'm just going to get his details.
Who's this?
Ekatike.
Oh, oh my God!
Just
this,
give
and
me
this guy is a player, mate. Oh my
give
God!
me a second. I think he's about 84 million, isn't he? I think let me get
Oh,
his
at least.
details on screen here. Just give me
At
one.
least, mate. He at Frankfurt. Wow,
Yeah,
that game I watched at Spurs against Frankfurt, he just caused so many problems. He comes to the Premier League, he's going to be a big hit in the Premier League.
yeah. Here we
Massive.
go. Hugo Ekatike. Not going to
Yeah,
worry about the interested clubs at the moment. There's a few. Chelsea, to name as one. Do you think it didn't work for him at Paris Saint-Germain?
yeah. Well, nothing sometimes works PSG, there does it. PSG can be a bit funny. This kid is brilliant. He's Premier League all day long. Can hold the ball up nicely. Big guy, great with his feet. Like he reminds me, he's got a bit Crouch-esque. He's actually really tall. I
Yeah,
think he must be about 6'5", 6'6". He's like that Mateta tall. He's big, but he's more gangly than, sorry, a little bit more thinner than Mateta. Sort of, I wouldn't say he has the sort of structure the same way, but yeah, he's wonderful ability. This guy.
yeah.
Be interesting to see where he goes. But
Pushing.
yeah, I mean,
Chelsea are pushing. Chelsea are every news outlet is
mm,
Chelsea. There
yeah,
is some reports that Liverpool hold a small interest in him as well. I'd be interested to see what happens with
oh man,
this
yeah.
one.
Imagine Liverpool getting him right, and then get rid of Nunes, and then having Verts as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if they do that, the Florian Wirtz one, where do you see this one going? Is this going to drag out?
It'll drag. It's a long one. This is going to be a long, dragged out one, because there's a lot of clubs. There's a lot of clubs where he's suited to. I think it could be a mask. The more it goes on, because something would have happened by now with Liverpool. They don't mess around. I think this could be a mask for Bayern Munich, and it just could be like he wants to go to Bayern. Bayern don't really want to spend the money. Right? If you don't want to have him, Liverpool are going to have him. And it's just been going on and on and on. And then eventually, I think Bayern will pay the money and go, you know what? You end up going to Bayern Munich.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's fair enough. I want to talk about Victor Osimhen as well.
Yeah.
Just let me find his details now. I don't have his Turkish details, guys. You could probably just pull up his stats for me
Yeah.
on his league form. I've got his Champions League form. Obviously, don't have
Yeah.
the Turkish stuff here. But the news yesterday, the Seventh Creative was watching the show and talked about Victor Osimhen.
Yeah.
I'm led to believe that this could be a deal in the region of I've got 84, so that's Veretica. Victor Osimhen could be a deal in the region of 50 million. I've got him in his Nigerian shirt there. 50 odd million for Osimhen. Conte does not want him back at Napoli. They've got
Why?
Lukaku. I,
Why?
I don't know. I don't know.
Is he set with his daughter or something?
Christ knows. He's got serious stats, and the stats I've got on screen are not all of them. He's a proper player. Victor Osimhen is
Yeah.
a proper, but he wants big money.
Yeah, he is that type of player. He was linked with United, wasn't he, as well, at one point, Osimhen. I thought, and you, I think
Yeah,
Aussie Matt has been saying that he, wanted Osimhen for a long time, and he's always talked about Osimhen. Yeah, two players I've watched in Europe this year in Spurs game against Spurs.
he
Osimhen,
ripped you a new such and such.
absolutely, and that Atike. They're the two best that I've seen out of number nines in Europe this season. They're one of the two best. And for me, if Napoli don't want him, it's strange. It's strange.
65 goals for Napoli in 108 appearances. He's out on loan at Galatasaray.
Yeah,
30 games overall, 26 goals.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
26 goals in 40 appearances for
Yeah.
Nigeria.
He's like a bull in a china shop. That's what
Yeah,
he
mate.
is. He is literally like a bull in a china shop. The ball goes in he wants it in the area. Just lump it in the area with a load of defenders, and he'll outmuscle them and try and get a shot off.
Yeah,
That's it. He's that type of player.
yeah.
Real rough and ready Premier League type of player.
Ray down in the chat. He wants Hugo Ekitike to sign for Newcastle. Appreciate the comment, Ray. Look, I don't see Ekitike going to Newcastle for as long as you've got Isak. That's never happening. Absolutely never happening. But look, Victor Osimhen, surely he can't do another deal in Turkey. Sure, he's too good for Turkey. He could go to the Camel League, I suppose, for the big money. He'll get more than 300 grand a week out in the desert, But surely a player of his quality wants to be playing top European football. I just don't see it. But 26 years old, he's got so much to give. But once again, Gaz, the top clubs seem to, be calling on him.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we shall see. Belieber is the other one. Brighton, Manchester United, potentially interested in Belieber. Had a really good season for Brighton last year. Goal scoring midfielder. What's your take on Belieber?
Belieber, yeah, I like him. You really like him, don't you?
Yeah, I think he's a solid player, mate.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. Brighton, that team, depending on us if they don't get actually stolen some of their players from again, I think Brighton are a team this year that have been real unlucky with injuries. Okay, and I think next year they are going to be the dark horses of the league, and they're going to surprise some people. When I say surprise them, if they keep some of their players, that's a big if. Okay, I actually think they're going to be pushing for sort of top 4, top 5.
Yeah.
I really do. I really think that they could potentially be the big person that pushing for that 5th spot. And there's a lot of teams looking for that 4th and 5th spot, 3rd, 4th, and 5th spot. A lot of teams, and it's definitely one of them too.
Yeah, look, Belieber would add an engine that United don't have currently in the middle of the park. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they can do it.
It's all on money, though, isn't it? It's all money. That's the thing. I mean, United have been linked with everyone. Matt and the United Times have seen high on United. They haven't got that much to spend. What's their budget? What is United's budget this season?
I think they could catch you out, mate. I generally do think that. The last one I want to get, you're based up in Liverpool. This man coming up on screen right now, Kirkes. Talk to me about him.
Yeah, good player, dude. Good player. Bournemouth been saying he's been a great player for a long time. You call him my second team. Bournemouth aren't my second team, by the way. I just used to just like watching them, and I see something. I had to correct you when you were saying that they were due to go down, or they look as they're going down. I said Bournemouth are going nowhere. There's a lot of good players at Bournemouth, and they're now all starting to progress. However, you don't want to be selling them. And Kirkes going, it looks if he is going to go, it's like I'd say it's pretty much a cert, to be honest.
Yeah.
Robertson's just not been the same player.
He's getting
And
older, but mate, can I just say,
mm,
Andy Robertson was signed for Liverpool from Hull City for 8 million quid.
I know, bargain, absolute bargain. And yeah, he certainly hasn't cost him anything. And trophies he's won, happy days. But this Kirkes is another level on. But yeah, Bournemouth, I feel sorry for Bournemouth in a way. Hoyson has gone, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Jumped ship to Madrid. Kirkes going. Would be another big hole in that team. Also, I've heard obviously Clivert's been linked with a few people as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he'll
So
stay. I think he's quite
yeah,
happy down on the south
yeah.
coast.
And Semenyo
Yeah,
is
Manchester United. But
it's
they
another
won't
United
do
one.
that. They won't do that now, I don't think.
No. So yeah, I mean Bournemouth. I feel sorry for these teams. Bournemouth, Brighton's, and the teams that just seems to get raped every season. It must be a
Jesus, Gaz.
nightmare. They do. They just get raped of players. Absolutely gutted. And Palace are the same. It's going to happen with Palace too.
I'm going to take you to away from the Premier League to a former Spurs great, a Real Madrid legend. What about this man? 39 years young, Luka Modric looks set to join AC Milan. Are we
When you mention
are we
when you mention
talking
his name,
are we talking Pirlo-esque here? Like he's just going to sit in the quarterback role and just ping balls around in Serie A for another season at 40?
yeah, mate, it just brings a smile
49
to my
games he played last season.
it brings such a smile to my face. This kid, oh, what a player,
Kid,
Modric.
kid,
What a player.
mate, he's
What a
collecting his
player.
pension.
He's younger than me, but and younger than you. But no, he's quality. He's quality, and perfect. It makes sense. Go to Italy, got more time on the ball, drop in that sort of Pirlo role, absolutely, and just give him the ball, and he'll ping it around. Do the running round for him. He'll have all the time in the world in Italy to really just do his stuff. Brilliant
Matt,
quality player, this
Matt
guy.
down in the chat. United to try and get him, play him alongside Casemiro, try and get Raul and Figo out of retirement too. Do you know what?
Yeah.
If I could get the real Ronaldo out of retirement, get
Oh,
him fit, that would be Man United would be a different gravy then. Right, guys, we are sadly out of time. A busy show, Gaz. Plenty
mm.
that we've covered there. I think about 17 players in the end, guys. The poll finished up with Rasmus Højlund with 75% of the votes as the worst player between him and Darwin Núñez. I'm actually shocked. To be honest, I think Darwin
I'm not.
Núñez is actually worse than Rasmus Højlund. But anyway, before we go, do me a favor, smash the like button if you haven't already. This show is worth way more likes than it's already got. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Gaz and I will be back tomorrow discussing all things Newcastle. Stephen Field, I know you'll be down in the chat for that one, as will Ray, I'm sure, as well, telling us just who he wants to sign. So thank you very much, guys. Really enjoyed it this morning. And Gaz and I will see you tomorrow.
Cheers, guys.